Where'd you go? Bree's like, I'm out of here before it even starts.
I'm gonna go live. Bree said, okay.
Yeah, all right, then I'm gone. Well, hello to everybody. Happy Friday. How's it going? We are here this evening to discuss the book Listen to Your Sister. And I am joined by both of my lovely friends, Jan and Bre. Both of their channels are linked down below if you're not familiar, so you can go and check them out. And yeah, like go watch some videos, go hang out, leave some comments, leave some love, subscribe.
Hang out while I make crazy ass food on the internet and talk about books.
Exactly. Like, what more could you ask for, honestly? But hello, thank you so much to everybody who is already joining us. I see you all in the chat, and it is much appreciated that you're here. I hope your Fridays are going well. And before we kick things off, I would love if both Bre and Jan, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of like introducing yourselves, maybe talking about like what genres you typically read, what kind of videos you like to make on your channels, and like all that fun stuff. Jan, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello, I'm Jan from Jan Agaton. I read a little bit of kind of everything. Mostly horror, romance, fantasy. I hesitate to say fantasy because my brain sucks at it, but I'm trying.
No,
and what?
You read a lot more fantasy than I do, so I think that qualifies.
That's true, but that's also like you do like one fantasy vlog a year.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I do a lot of vlogs. I might start doing TBRs again. I do wrap-ups every month, but yeah, mostly vlogs.
Nice.
So yes, Bre.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm like, yeah. Every time. One, thanks for inviting me. I love being invited to other people's book clubs because I love being invited because it's typically a new release, and I almost never read new releases, so it gives me an opportunity to read them. On my channel, I do a lot of like lifestyle bookish stuff. I guess I think that would better describe my channel because it's like I'm reading and probably planting my plants, replanting something. I'm reading, but also telling you how to make this pasta. I'm reading and also making homemade syrups. I'm reading
Andouille sausage, chicken sausage and peppers.
Oh,
we still use her recipe to this day.
It's a banger. It's a banger. It's gonna give it to you every time.
Yeah, so you got book reviews and recipes in the same video.
Cooking and booking.
Amazing. Yeah.
Cooking and booking. I hate to say I'm that girl, but when you're that girl.
That one sandwich you made recently in a video, I was like salivating. I was like, that looks so
listen, and I had to cut out the sandwich stuff on it because I had like 4 other sandwiches, and I was like, Bre, no one's here to watch you make 7 sandwiches in a row. Like, so I had to like pull back, but I'm still hyper fixated on it. I made a sandwich last night. Me and
we had the sausage thing last night, but we ran out of peppers, so it was just sausage and rice.
But it's still good.
It's
still good. It's still. Oh, I'm so happy that you guys still use it. Yes. If you need another one, let me know.
Okay.
I just made a big batch of dirty rice that will be on my vlog in 2 weeks. So if anybody's wondering how to make Cajun,
she's got a schedule.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the rest.
Stay tuned.
You'll probably be talking about this book in that vlog too. So
exciting.
But yeah,
too.
Huh?
Gabby's been cooking a ton too in her vlog.
Yes.
You will not find cooking on my channel, everybody.
Yes.
I want the cooking footage.
Yes. It's
burning.
Cooking, vlogging, and reading. It's just such a good balance to it.
Yeah.
Such a good balance to a video, I think. But
I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everybody who is here with us joining this live show. I appreciate you. I would love to know in the chat if you are here because you read the book with us this month. Maybe if you are, you could put a little house emoji in the chat if you did read the book this month. And then maybe if you haven't read it or if you're just here to hang out, maybe you can do a little like a little tree emoji. And it's okay if you have not yet read the book. At the beginning of this live show, it will be spoiler free, and I will warn you well before we do jump into spoilers. But while the chat is doing that, Bre, if you wouldn't mind pitching like a non-spoilery synopsis just for anybody who's curious, who hasn't read it, who's like, what is this all about?
I must have good storytelling skills because this seems to be my role on almost every live show I go on. All right, let's strap in, folks.
Yes. Let's
give it the pizzazz.
Listen to your sister is a cautionary tale of when you don't listen to your sister.
Yes.
Your ass might be sliced, diced, and pieced together because you ain't doing the Lord's work. Okay. We got 3 main characters, also 3 point of views. We have the main character, what I like to call Cece, aka Callie. We have her brother, who's 2 years younger than her, Dre. And then you have, is it Jesse or Jamal? I keep messing up.
Jamie.
Jamie, why do you like that, Jamie? You didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve that.
Oh.
Jamie. And Jamie is like, look, I'm for the streets. I want to smoke weed. I want to burn shit down and let the whole world burn. And his sister is like, you're stressing me out. Okay. You had 5 fucking bottles of wine and I'm stressed out. I want to masturbate and I want to live my life. But I got to take care of your raggedy ass. And then her other brother, Dre, is like, look, I'm just trying to be a cook and stop my friend from cheating on his girlfriend because shit could end south. I mean, go all the way south.
Yes.
So you're following the perspectives of these 3 siblings and how they're viewing themselves, specifically the older ones, and how they're viewing their responsibility of now being parentified more in a official capacity of their little brother, Jamie, who is for the streets and don't give a shit about the law and quick with the tongue. So something bad happens. And then it caused them all to really think about their place in each other's lives and if there's some kind of reckoning that could be done. And that is the synopsis of the book.
Wow, that was very well done. Round of applause. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bre. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, it does seem like we had a lot of mix in the chat. I saw a lot of trees, a lot of houses. So thank you for your feedback. I would love now, if you wouldn't mind in the chat, if you could put your rating for this book out of 5 stars. I would love to know. And then while we're doing that, we'll be sharing our ratings, which I don't actually know what you 2 rated the book. I kind of know how Jan felt about it, I think.
I did too early on.
Yeah,
I did.
But I actually haven't. I don't know what your ratings are, so I'm curious. And so Bre, would you want to start first? Maybe just share your rating and then like a brief, non-spoilery why you ended up rating it that.
This book is a 4 because it's Black as fuck. If you are not in tune with Black culture and Black people, you won't relate to this book.
Okay. All right, a 4. That's exciting. Okay, Jan.
I wish I went first. But I gave it a 2.
And why?
I'm gonna read a non-spoilery line.
Okay.
Jamie's delight popped like the virginity of his ex-girlfriend at the Panda Express.
Wait, what? That's a quote?
Direct? That's a quote.
And I laughed. I'm talking about from the gut. You hear me? I said she out of pocket for that shit. She is out of pocket. Yes, I said out of pocket.
I love the humor. The humor was good, but then there was writing like that was like, oh, it's a debut.
Yeah. Okay.
There were a lot of like comparisons like that. And also, I feel like it was a little too long. I like the concept of like the horror elements, but I feel like the execution could have been better. I feel like this would have been better as a B horror, like TV original.
Sorry about that. Oh my god.
Man, who's driving?
Sound effects, it was just like ramping up. Yeah. It's like a Shudder or Tubi original movie. I feel like it would have been a better movie than a book.
I would agree with that. I also ended up giving this one 2 stars. Unfortunately, I wanted to love this so badly, and there were some things that I did like about this book. I think the strongest things for me about this book was the dynamic between the siblings. Like, I really do love reading about sibling relationships, and I feel like this one was really interesting because I liked following from Callie's perspective, where she's kind of like taking on this like burden in a way of like motherhood, or like, you know, feeling like she's responsible for her brothers. So that was definitely like the strongest points of the book for me, were the sibling relationships. But some of the horror elements in this book just didn't really work for me. Like, I see what this author was trying to do with the horror, and I thought it was interesting. But then also, like, I really struggled with the writing in this book, just more in the sense of, like, I could never tell what was actually happening and then what was, like, not real, or like what was a hallucination or something, or that kind of thing. And that really kept pulling me out of it, because I kept being like, wait a second, like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, I was getting really mixed up. And so yeah, that's kind of my general feelings about it.
Yeah, like the transitions weren't smooth. Like,
Mhm.
never knew, like, by the time the chapter was over, I'm like, oh, I spent all that time trying to figure out if I was in reality or not. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah, which I don't always mind in horror. I guess it just depends for me on like how it's done, because I don't always mind if it's made clear to me that like a character's hallucinating or something like that, then I don't always mind that kind of being explored in books. But I think there was something about the particular writing style in this where I was just always questioning like what's real and what's not, and then that just got kind of frustrating for me after a while with the book.
And also the flashbacks were just like plopped in there without warning, I feel like.
Yeah, like sometimes the timelines would get confusing. Like,
yeah, within the same chapter, they would switch timelines. Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
All right,
I
cool.
disagree.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Bre enjoyed it, because I wanted a balance of like, you know, all different opinions represented here.
I disagree. I think it just was, to me, it was a good representation of Black storytelling. Like, it's often like ends and something else starts, or something just being thrown in, or remember way back. Like, it's very conversational in the way that the book is written. So I enjoyed that. There was, going to Jan point, the reason why it's not a 5 is because I didn't love it. I liked it. I didn't love it. And the reason why I didn't love it is because I also was like, this is giving debut.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, some things I was like, okay. In addition to, I had a problem with some of the pace choices. In some moments of the book, I don't know if you guys saw that, it felt fast, then it felt really slow, then felt medium, then felt, I like a consistent pace just for me. It wasn't given that for real. So that's why I didn't like it as much. But I knew coming into this, when I started to enjoy it, that Jan was going to hate it. For anyone who knows me and Jan's relationship online, it don't matter what the book is and who wrote it. If I liked it, Jan 100% hated it.
Oh my God.
Could not stand it. So every time I like a book, I'm like, man, I just say a little small thing to you. I don't even text you. I just think, I'd be like, Jan would hate this. And then there's times where I loved it. I'm like, this is probably some bullshit Jan liked. I already know, you know, because you're so my opposite. You the opposite. I'm just kidding, but you're the opposite. So I be knowing as soon as I start reading some shit, I'm like, I know Jan hates it.
That's like the good to get reverse recommendations then, you know, like anything Jan hates, you're like, this is gonna be a lot
of stuff she hated, and I was like, I actually thought that was really good.
Yeah,
you know,
this is like our 4th live show together, like book club.
And every time we are on different opposites.
House of Hunger, we agreed on.
Did we?
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That snuck in.
Yeah.
But I think that's because you like vampiric stuff, which I'm trying to get into. I don't really know what to read at the moment, but I'm trying to get into it.
Have you read A Dowry of Blood?
I have not.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, if you hate it, Bre, don't tell me.
I'm gonna tell you. What? I believe in honesty and reparation. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you. Wait, I won't tell you if I don't like it.
I'll find out, probably.
One of the first questions that I usually like to ask is like comparing this book to the author's previous stuff, but since this is a debut, I thought instead I would ask if you've seen any of the stuff that this is compared to, because on the back of this book it mentions that this is for fans of Stranger Things or for Jordan Peele's films, and so I was just wondering if you had seen any of those things, and if you think that is a strong comparison for the book.
Stranger Things, I have never seen a day in my life. Nor have I seen any of Jordan Peele. Oh, don't take the black card.
Oh.
But I have not seen it. Don't now. Don't rob me.
No, that's actually exciting, Bre, because now you have like a lot to look forward to, I think.
I know. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you why I've never watched Jordan Peele. I was the only Black person in a very white country called Ukraine for years. And it was traumatic as fuck. And then Get Out came out. I said, too close.
Yeah.
Too close. So I've kind of just been like, I can't watch anything until I watch Get Out.
Okay.
That's my favorite movie of all time. My favorite horror movie of all time.
Wow.
And then, hopefully we're not opposites in movies.
I know, I was going to say, so Bre will hate it.
But Stranger Things, so I love Jordan Peele. I don't know if I've watched every single one. I watched Get Out, Nope, and Us. And then Stranger Things, I watched the very first episode and the very last episode.
What?
No, that's right. You had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Do I think differently? Possibly. But you had to do what you had to do.
With the changing light colors.
But okay, I take back. I lied earlier. I did see Nope because it's Keke Palmer. What are we talking about for real?
Yes.
So I had to go ahead and I did watch that, and I actually really liked that movie. The ending made no sense to me, but it don't have to.
Nope, not with Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I would agree. I've seen most, or if not all, of Jordan Peele's films, and I do think that this feels more like an accurate comparison to like Jordan Peele movies instead of Stranger Things, because like I don't know, I've seen Stranger Things, I love Stranger Things. I don't really see the similarity between this book and Stranger Things, at least in terms of like plot. I'm not too sure about that, but it did feel very similar to Jordan Peele, and especially the movie Us. I think out of all of his movies, I think it was most comparable to Us, probably, just in terms of like themes and plot and everything. But I agree, Nope was a really fantastic movie. I really love that one too.
So if you feel like it was, well, no, never mind. That was dumb. But I was about to say, because it didn't make sense in the grand scheme. I take it back.
Okay, well, I think I want to jump into spoilers at this point because I feel like it's going to be harder and harder to talk about this book without getting into spoilers. So from this point forward, we will be talking about spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then this is where we part ways. Thank you so much for being here. The first...
That was so quick.
So deadpan. So the first question I had is about like the different perspectives that we're getting in this book, because, you know, as Bre mentioned, we're getting the sister Calla's point of view, we get Dre's point of view, and we get the brother, younger brother Jamie's point of view. And I just wanted to know, how did you feel about getting all three point of views? Did you feel like all three point of views were needed? Did you like have a preference for one, or did you find one of them to be like slower than the others? Or like, how did you feel about getting all three of their perspectives?
So when the book started, and Jan, if I'm just over talking,
no, go.
Let a mug know, okay? You know I ain't trying to be disrespectful up here. Just let me know. Let me know if I over talk, because I
You're good. Give me all of the talking.
I just wanted to, set that as a rule, But so when correct me if I'm wrong. All right, collective mind. When the book starts, we're in Callie's perspective.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So because we're in Callie's perspective, when she said, I think it was the first or second chapter, I can't remember, of her describing what Jamie looks like in the chair with the principal, and how he's not saying anything, and how like quick he was with his tongue and responding to things when he did respond. In that moment, I said, if this book is not giving multiple POVs, it's automatically a 1. Because like in that moment, I was like, I need multiple perspectives here. I definitely need that, because I mean, even as a therapist, I was curious. It's like, why is he quiet? Why is he responding like this? It seems like he's doing a lot of like self-preservation. Like, what's going on with this kid? Like, is it a birth order thing? Is it a trauma thing? Like, what happened to mom? Why is Callie taking care of this kid? What circumstances brought him here? But that's just me being, I think, a bit too meta. But that's just what I was thinking in the moment.
Yeah.
I liked Calla's perspective the best, but I love multi-POV, so I like that we got all three. Jamie, I just hate reading from teenage.
Oh my God. Preach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think his point of view was definitely necessary. And then Dre is probably the least necessary. I feel like I got the least out of his perspectives. Most of his, I felt like, well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of his were flashbacks, no?
I think.
I can't remember. And then like
I remember the ratio.
Yeah.
I think we got more of Dre at the end of the book than from the beginning, because I feel like the beginning was just giving us Jamie, Callie, a dash of Dre, Sorbet, you know, not something too concrete.
Yeah.
Then when we got Callie's, he said, "Oh, they ain't gonna take me." And when he got, I mean, he kept trying to tell them he wasn't Roberto, and they said, "We don't give a shit." And whooped his ass.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember Dre's perspective the least, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I think I actually I think I preferred Kala's point of view like the most, and I actually had the opposite opinion, Bre, when you said if this is only one point of view, it would be 1 star, because I was hoping it would only be from her perspective. I don't know why. Like, I started the book thinking, oh, this is gonna be like her story, and like it's listen to your sister, you know. And I was like, I'm listening, like I want to hear your story, you know. And so I thought the whole book.
Gabby, please.
I'm sorry. I thought this whole book was going to be from her point of view, so I was kind of like, oh, like I was like, oh, we're getting both of the brothers, like interesting. But then I kind of feel like how Jan, how you said like Dre's chapters kind of felt a little bit slower. Like I didn't feel as invested with him, and then Jamie, because he's like a 16-year-old boy, it kind of felt like not like reading YA, but like closer to reading YA during those chapters. And then I would just get really frustrated with Jamie's chapters because I was always just like, what is he going on about with like, he would always be talking about his like nakedness, or like his nakedness would get brought up so often that I'd be like so uncomfortable. Like, why are we doing this? But I know it's like, he's a teenage boy. So like that is, you know, pretty on brand, I think, for teenage boys. But so I personally would have rather that we just got Kala's point of view, because I feel like I liked getting her insight on like how much she cared for her brothers, and like I don't know, her perspective definitely like intrigued me the most. So I actually think this book might have been stronger for me if it was only hers, because I do think Jamie's chapters, like I was counting, and I think Jamie takes up the majority of the story. Like I think we're mostly following from Jamie.
Yeah, when we look at birth order, the author did like we're supposed to think like, oh, Dre, we didn't get too much because middle siblings are often forgot about.
Oh, I see.
So the way that she did it to me was very birth order, like into. It reminded me of River Solomon's book Model Home.
Oh, okay.
All three of those characters, those siblings interact with each other. That also was Black AF. I said, I'm getting fed this year. I love that for me. And I'm not going to lie, I was triggered too as a middle sibling, and triggered also as an older sibling, and triggered as a younger sibling who was the youngest sibling for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can, you know, understand all of the dynamics. So as well.
I wanted to ask too, like, just very broadly, like, what were some things that you loved about this? And I know, Bre, you probably have more to say here than Jan and I have, but like, what would be the thing that like stood out to you most about this book that you really loved, and like why it really resonated with you?
Go ahead, Bre.
So I will be reading an excerpt. I was really ready for this.
Yes.
Well, I hope you still invite me to future things, even though we've missed the mark today, y'all.
No, this is what I'm here for. I want all of the thoughts.
Okay, hold on.
Reads 30 pages.
Okay, there's 2 parts. Callie had friends who were parents, who toted around their accidental toddler, shiny new married couple, planning new babies. She went to weddings and baby showers, but no one bought gifts for new guardianship. You are a mother and also a person, and you love your baby, but you also will want to go to the goddamn bathroom in peace, eat bread hot from the oven. You'll realize you're the janitor of your own life, responsible for all manner of messes, and your needs are dead last. If your nanny isn't shitty, you'll let her take the baby so you can get a break. So the reason why I read those 2 is because I think I think a lot of times, and we're working on it as Black people, and I'm seeing this movement online of talking about the dangers of being a parentified older child and how that makes you feel. And how like people will tell you that you're not a mother, and you're like, but I've been mothering. I've been doing these things. I've been showing up. I've been, you have proof. You have lived experience. And it's sad that it's not an experience that is rare to people in your community. So when I read that and read, about her talking about nobody brings gifts for guardianship. Every day I see friends and people from my community or Black and Indigenous communities where one day you're living life free, you're 18, next minute you are responsible for your 3-4 siblings who are younger than you, and like how that can impact your psyche and make you feel like you're losing your shit. And then you have younger siblings who are just like either being assholes or don't quite understand, or frontal lobe is not fully developed for them to understand what you're trying to do or trying to help you. You're still in this mind frame of they're a baby. I have to be all up in their shit, which Callie then found out, like, I don't have to be on my brother like this. Like, whatever choices he makes, she talks about, he's going to make them. You can try your best to shield your little sibling from anything, but life is going to be the lesson. All the time, life is going to be the lesson, no matter what you do. And I've learned that as an older sister. I be trying to be Captain Save a Hoe, but these hoes ain't trying to be saved. Do you hear me? So it's like, so reading that, I was just like, every time we got her perspective and we understood more of how she felt, and being a middle child, and what it's like being the youngest. I felt like I saw Little Breeze in all of those. I related to all of those things. So that's what made the book strong for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was too long, but I had to say what I had to say.
That was great. I love the insight. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It sounds so much dumber in comparison. But we're just
no. I'm sorry. I'll remove myself.
No, it's fine. I'm just an only child, so I don't relate to like anything. But I will say one of my favorite, this is gonna sound weird, but one of my favorite parts that like I remember that stuck with me was that part where they were like fighting, like right when they got to the cabin. I was like hooked. I was like, maybe I'll actually like this if this energy is here. Like they were like shoving each other and shit, and I was like, oh my god, what are they?
Yeah, I was like, whoop ass. It's time to fight. Sometimes words don't do us justice.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he really said that to her. And then also the humor, like some of them, like I said, that line earlier that I read, like I feel like some parts were trying a little too hard to be like edgy or like just funny in general. But like there are parts that are like the dark mouth of the cabin looked like Cthulhu's asshole. And it's like like it's just like these most random comparisons that you just unique. Oh no, my phone's going off. How rude of me. and then the horror elements as well, like in the nightmares and stuff. I like parts. It was just hard to distinguish when the nightmares were happening, but when we were in it, like all the gory parts or horror parts I liked too.
Yeah.
Overall.
I don't think we talk enough about sibling trauma and like in remedies or like actual ways to resolve conflict when you have such dynamics the way that you have it. And I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I agree with Bre. I think like for me, like the strongest parts of the book that really resonated with me was the sibling relationships and the sibling dynamics. And I did love so many of the quotes, especially towards the end, talking about like with Kala, how she like had to embrace this motherhood and how she felt it was all on her shoulders because, she kind of was like arguing with Dre throughout the book, kind of being like, we were supposed to share, like this responsibility. And it really got put all on me, and how she thought that was really unfair. And it was really like difficult to read sometimes about the way that her brothers would treat her, because like it's almost like they would take it for
noir was heavy.
But those are the aspects of the book that resonated the most with me because I thought that was really strong. Whereas like I do think the horror of the book is where it kind of was like falling for me, because at least for the nightmare sections, I kept getting so confused with like what is real, what is fake, especially like once they got to the cabin, and then it was almost like Calla was like getting possessed by her like other selves, or like all these other like I don't know, I was like, were they doppelgangers? Like I was having trouble like imagining things because I was like, what is going on? And she's getting possessed, so I'm like, so it's not really her, but like it is a version of her, right? Like
like locked in the closet thing, I was like, is she really in the closet? And then like all the parts where the chapters ended with like water scenes, I never understood. Like, why is someone randomly drowning? I don't know, but yeah, I just imagine Gabby and Rachel like beating each other's asses.
Oh god. Yeah.
No, sometimes you gotta fight a sibling. Like, like I recently had a blowout with a sibling, so I was like, I get it, man.
Yeah, I was like on the nose a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I get it.
I could never. Yeah. They were like so ungrateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for the ending, like the ending especially, I wanted to touch on because like I don't really understand what happened at the end of this book, and I feel like I need somebody to explain this to me like I'm 5, because I'm like, what? Like I was like taking my notes. My notes literally said they all died, and then put never mind, and then I put like they were in a car accident. Never mind, it was Calla that was in the car accident, or like she reimagined. Like I couldn't really follow like what was happening at the end, and then the very end, from what I remember, is Jamie saying he's working on a new song called The Nightmare or something like that. Yeah. And then it just ends there. And so I was like, wait, so I was like, they're all alive, or like, was it all like a dream? Was it all the nightmare? Or like, I was very confused by the end.
I don't get it either.
I can see why you rated it too.
Yeah. I'm like, I need this. I don't understand.
I get it here.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling confused at all. Not saying that but I was just like, oh, okay. Look at that self-actualization at the end. That's beautiful.
So it was like
that you accepted all versions of you and understood that you got to accept all versions of your brothers. Got it.
Like, I see. So like it was all the nightmare then? Like it was just the coming to terms with accepting that?
Yeah, it's like when your inner worries and your inner fears get so big, then it becomes outside of you. It's kind of like you have anxiety or depression that's not checked, and motherfuckers gonna see it. It's gonna be externalized. So that's how I looked at it, as like she was so stressed out that her nightmare had to come to life to teach her, to tell her brothers how she really felt, because she was unable to.
That's really interesting, actually. Yeah. I wasn't thinking of it, I guess. Like, I was taking it very literally with, like, the horror that was happening on page, because I was like, oh my god, like, she's literally fighting her own doppelgangers, and, like, I was so, like, how is it so hard to follow, like...
demons, which is also very biblical in Black churches, is, like, it's a constant, like, to hear, like, you gotta fight these versions of you, you know, all of these demons. And if you don't fight them or handle them, they're gonna handle you, kind of mentality. So we saw that being actualized. I don't know words.
You know plenty of words. Wait, did you listen to the audiobook, Gabby?
I did, yeah.
I know Bre did, and I followed along towards the end. I love the audiobook though.
Yeah, I was gonna say the audiobook was really good.
It was creepy.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
So was the horror then, Bre, like, was the horror like hard for you to visualize at any time, or was most of it like, because like when there would be moments, like I think especially even at the beginning of the book when it was saying Jamie was like, it was like he stuck his hand through some girl's face or something like that, and then I was like, what is going on? Like I was like, is it actually happening, or is he hallucinating? Is this part of the nightmare? Like there would be times, so many times, where I was questioning like what was real or like what was actually happening, and I think that was mainly like why I found it so hard to follow sometimes, because I was like, what am I even reading?
Well, the hand going through didn't make sense to me until I realized they had a shared trauma. And this is therapist Bre. When I realized they had a shared trauma, I realized a lot of times, not all the time, but especially when kids and children have a shared trauma, sometimes they can have feelings or emotions that will be similar to psychosis, like a delusion, and it can be a shared delusion among siblings. So for me, I was like, this is the author telling us that reality is about to be warped for them. So then when Bre thought, no, was it Dre or was it Jamie who thought they were about to die, and this lady came up and whooped ass and killed those two? Oh, it was Dre.
Oh yeah.
Killed those two women. I said, oh, so this is our second warning. This is our final warning. They've been giving us like multiple warnings. This is our final warning that the reality is about to be swapped. The horror is about to start. That's how I looked at it.
I see. Yeah. See, I would not, like, I'm so glad you're here on this live show to explain this to me. I was taking everything so literally. And I mean, that actually makes sense though, when I think about it more of like you're fighting all these different parts of yourself. Like, I think that makes a lot more sense when I think about it in that way.
Yeah.
I was just so like head of the class.
Yeah. That's why when they killed him, they didn't really die, because she was the one who had to face her demons. Nobody could have done that for her but herself. And she had to realize her role within her brothers and have a willingness to change and be vulnerable with them. If she stayed stagnant, they would have killed her.
Yeah.
Meaning she would have lost herself, and she wouldn't have known she would have been pieces of herself.
Yeah.
In her body, but pieces of herself, not her whole self.
Yeah. That's really,
it was like
that's really deep.
Kala, little girl Kala, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, my one thing with the audiobook though, the only critique I had of it is when it would do the voices of like prom Kala or like the little girl Kala. I was like, oh, it was like very annoying to me. And
the grandma one was creepy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it was really creepy and really like effective. But then when it was like, I can't remember if it was either prom Kala or the little girl one. I can't remember which one, but I was like, oh my god, it was so annoying. It was like grating on my ears. I was like, why?
I'm not gonna lie. I know that the little girl was supposed to be scary, but she was funny to me. I don't know why. When she was like, "You're gonna be so happy at what I do, Dre, I'm coming for you." I was like, this is so funny.
It was giving like the puppet on like How to Sell a Haunted House.
I know this what you want this to be, and I'm so sorry that I'm mad. Like, I'm so sorry.
I thought of that too, and then I was imagining her as, have you guys seen the Terrifier movies? No? Okay, well, there's a little girl in that, but I was just imagining her, I don't know. Yeah, she has like pigtails that like look like this, and she looks
like Orphan. Orphan scares the
I love Orphan, but no, creepier than Orphan.
Okay.
Oh, someone please tell me if Dre killed or not if Dre killed his father or not.
I think it was metaphorically. I don't think he killed him.
It was like he was in the car with his dad, right? And then his dad had said he had an what did he say? He said he had an affair and like he had another family, and then like I think his dad died in that scene in the car accident?
Yeah, I think so. If memory. But I took it as metaphorically. Maybe that's a confusion point for me.
Yeah, because Dre didn't kill him, right? Like Dre was in the car with him, but
no, I don't think he killed him.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I'm wondering if killed was like, I got to kill my idolization of him, because for so long in the book it was like me and dad is hanging out, and me and dad looks good, and so could it be that? We don't know.
Yeah, because I remember it said that Dre felt like closer to his dad than the other siblings did, or like he had a closer bond with him, so like his death affected him more.
Right. That's why I thought it was metaphor. Like,
I
thought it was like one of those times, and everybody has them. Every person do, I think. I think every person has that point in your life when you realize your parents is a human.
Yep.
They are not super man, super woman. You're like, damn, that's crazy. When the glass shatters and you're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
The mom is still alive, right? The mom was still alive, right?
Yeah. The mom needed her ass whooped. She needed a 1-2 piecer, at the very least.
I think that Jamie or Dre was the entire reason that dad was in the car in the first place, so he felt guilty. Oh, maybe. I know, I can't remember the details of that.
No.
But and not that this is the kind of book that you would really like theorize about where it's going, but if you did, like, did you have any like theories throughout the book, or like ideas of where you thought the story might be going, or like did you theorize anything different, or did it end up being kind of like what you expected by the end of it?
It didn't say anything about doppelgangers in the in the synopsis, right?
Yeah, I don't believe it did, no.
Yeah, I was not expecting doppelgangers.
Yeah.
I was expecting like just, I don't know, maybe even like paranormal stuff in the cabin. Like, I feel like we were barely in the cabin.
No, they weren't. They
Mhm.
weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it took like 160 pages or so to even get to the cabin. I was like, oh, when is this gonna start?
Yeah. Like, what is going on?
You were really over this book. I did not think that at all. So I don't think enough books does what Stephen Graham Jones and Tanana Reeve does, which is kill characters. Kill them. So I wanted the brothers to die.
Oh, okay.
I wanted the brothers to die, and I wanted her anger to fill her up so bad that the different versions was her became permanent to this world, and they wreaked havoc. That's what I wanted. Just fictionally. Do I want that in real life? Hell no. But I was like, I tend to go to darker things and when I'm reading fiction. So, and at first I used to be like, oh no. But I'm like, what? Like, it's fictional. You made it up anyway.
Yeah.
So like, kill these people off.
Well, and for like a horror book, I feel like that could have been a stronger ending because then it would have been like Kala dealing with the horror of like losing her brothers, and then it would have had a more impactful like listen to your sister, like you should have listened, you know.
And listen, and it would have been powerful at the end. Was I'm writing a new song. A person on the street asks you, "What's the name of it?" You say, "The Nightmare." What? Fuck you up. You know,
yeah, more ominous.
Like, right? You get me? So that's when I was like, "Oh, you keeping these motherfuckers alive?"
Yeah,
I guess.
You know, that's a good point, because I do feel like sometimes horror books will like wrap up with like a neat little bow and everybody's happy and alive, and I'm like, I read horror books because I want to see like the darker, like the horror, you know. And
that's what
sometimes
I'm reading this. I'm not reading romance.
Yeah, like I think it could have been more impactful for sure at the end if something more darker had happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I fully agree with that. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, and then one of my questions, well, I have two more questions before we wrap up the live. One of them was, will you be reading more from this author in the future? And if so, what would you like to see this author try to take on next, if you have any like, you know, ideas? Because I think I would like to read from this author again, and if she does choose to write horror again in the future, I would be interested in picking it up, because I do think that it's not necessarily like the writing that I didn't like. Like I do see that this author has potential, and I'd be curious to see what she would do next. But will you also be picking up her next thing?
Maybe a novella. Maybe a novella. Like, weird horror novella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely has room to improve. I think she was doing some good things. She just needed refining.
Yeah, listen to your brother. The next book.
Yeah. I'm down to read more horror from her. I just want to give an observation. The observation is, so I would say since 2019, I read more Black horror than any other horror. I read a lot of it, and what I've come to know is that Black horror and Indigenous horror is different from what mainstream view horror is. In all the books I'm reading, what I'm gathering is, because trauma can be horrific and is horrific, that is where the horror lies. So I often see when people don't see horror as if like, what's that guy name? I forget. It's a white man, but the way that he writes it is different than how other horrors would be perceived. So that's just an observation I wanted to give on what I've been reading for these last years. But I think it would be, I don't know. I think she would do really good with a thriller as well.
I agree.
I think she might be in her bag for a thriller, even though I do think white women really write thrillers the best.
Yeah, I think I'd be curious. I think for me, it also just depends on like if the synopsis of her next book intrigues me. I think I'll be like more inclined to want to pick it up, because I think it really just comes down to like the individual book and like what it's going to be about, whether it's like something I'd be interested in. But I definitely would be down to try from this author again.
Maybe if she does like a like a family saga since she was good at the
I was gonna say like a family kind of like literary vibe maybe. I think I'd be into that. Yeah.
Charmaine, what's their name? Charmaine Wilkinson, the Good Dirt and Black Cake.
Oh yeah.
Charmaine Wilkerson.
Oh yes, I have not read either of those books.
Okay.
I didn't hear good things about Black Cake, and I said enough. So I didn't go towards it. I'm not gonna lie. If I trust your reading taste and you tell me a book is not great, I will never touch it. There's millions of books in the world. I don't need to be stressed out by that.
Unless it's me, then you will definitely read it.
I'm reading it
immediately.
Immediately. And I don't give a lot of 1 stars to be like, have you read this? I don't give a lot of 1 stars. Dang, I had something to say about this. I'm curious to know what parts about the book did you guys feel like we didn't need that? Like you could have removed that in your perception of the book as it stands now would have remained the same.
I mean, I think for me, it's the brothers' perspectives, to be honest. Like, I really just could have done without. Like, I feel like this book could have been so much stronger for me if we had just gotten Calla's point of view.
Okay.
Just because every time the brothers' perspectives would come up, I'd be like, oh, like, I'd just be waiting for it to get back to Calla's point of view. Like, I just felt most connected to her.
Yeah.
I think I like the beginning part. I think that hooked me, like with the, Jamie's a troublemaker and blah, blah, blah. I think they could have gotten to the cabin faster. Then I would have been like, okay, here's the synopsis. Like, but that like part, that part in between, I think
they were planning a tad too long. Get in the car and leave.
Yeah.
You're here talking to this white man who's trying to be a savior. Close the door, girl.
Leave. Yeah, what was the point of Noah? Yeah, okay. Noah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you needed Noah because if Noah strengthens the fact that he thought it was okay to go with his friends and pass out armed weapons to civilians during a protest against police brutality of Black people. You need a character like Noah because there's always a Noah like that in Black people's business. There's always a Noah in
but
Black
he like disappears for most of the book, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, that's purposeful. It's like you tell me you're so down, but where are you? You tell me you're an ally, but where are you? You tell me you down for me, and I have not seen you once.
True. And then she goes off with him at the end, right? I can't remember.
I think they do something. I might be thinking no, I think I'm thinking of the other dude. It's not Noah. It was the dude she was dating with the wrinkled dress. I think she spun the block. Is that what we're talking about?
I thought she was dating Noah the whole time, and then at the end they car together. Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of something else. She was on a date, I think, with a Black man who she just was having a date with. Noah is just don't get the clue. Yeah. I think y'all in the comments, correct the girl.
I believe you. I'll take every word.
Don't do that.
All right, and then one of the last questions I had before we wrap up is if you had any like books, movies, TV shows that you would compare this to that you're like, if you like this, maybe check out this.
Yes! So I don't want to like say too much about why, but I just watched The Woman in the Yard as I was reading this.
Ooh, I want to see that so bad.
It's Bre, you're gonna love it. It has such good mental health rep, and like there are so many similarities. I was getting them confused. But like in a very different way. Just watch it. It's so good.
I gotta do that then. Yeah, Stephanie, I think me and you on the same wavelength. She did have a white nosy neighbor, Noah, and then she was dating a Black man. I don't think we got the Black man's name. If we did, I forgot it.
I thought she was dating Noah.
I was confused Black too. Man's name.
Well, there was the neighbor Matt. I think the white neighbors was Matt.
Maybe Noah's Black. Maybe Noah's the Black boyfriend, and Matt's the white man. I don't call them nosy, but anyway, I don't call them whatever. So I agree. I think Model Home by River Solomon is, if you're looking for this type of like lexicon in Blackness, yeah. In addition to Long Division by Kesey Lehman, that one was 5 stars for me. I think Model Home was also 5 stars for me. I think they're both with 5 stars. There's a typical Black narrative that I'm like, you did that for us. I love it. Yep, When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole.
Oh yeah, I love that one. Have you read We Came to Welcome You, Bre?
I have not.
Have you, Gabby?
I started it, but I ended up DNFing it because it was due back to the library. I got like 60 pages in or something.
It'd be like that.
Yeah. That one was 5 stars for me, and it's compared to Model Home a lot because it's like also a gated community. So I don't know if you'd like it or hate it, Bre.
And who this by? Alyssa?
No, they wrote, it was their adult debut. Vincent Torrado.
Ooh, me and Vincent ain't got a great track record.
Oh no. But is it a debut?
It's an adult debut. So they
it's an adult. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. They wrote Burn Down, Rise Up, and We Don't Swim Here.
Oh.
Yeah. But, wait, oh no, sorry. I'm thinking about Jesse Squanto. Not Vincent.
Jesse Squanto.
Yeah. Because the book you just said, I think I rated that 5 stars, or When We Don't Swim Here or something. I think I rated that high.
That's Vincent Torrado.
Yeah. It's Jesse who I can't. I'm here. My Home by River Solomon for sure. I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the only movie comparison I could think of was like Us by Jordan Peele, which I know is like pretty obvious, but I do think Us, of all of his movies, would be the most comparable for me. And then book-wise, I was struggling because I was trying to look at it through a lens of like what other horror books have really fun and good sibling dynamics, because I was trying to think like what other sibling stuff have I liked in horror, and the only 3 I could really think of is like The Haunting of Hill House has some interesting sibling dynamics. There's the book Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This has one of my favorite like brother dynamics that I've ever read. And then the book Brother by Anya Alborn also has some interesting like family cannibal kind of family dynamics. But I was thinking I really need to read more horror that has good sibling dynamics because I couldn't think of that many. And so
you just made me think of a recommendation as well. The Other Brother by Brandon Massey as well.
Oh, okay. Brandon Massey sounds so familiar. What happened?
Nana.
Yeah,
oh my god, yes, Nana. I was like, I could have sworn I've read something from this already. Like, yes. Okay, thank you.
Another book for us.
Yeah. Nana was a good one. I like that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I own In the Dark by Brandon Massey, but I haven't read that one.
In the Dark.
In the Dark is I don't think I read Dark Corner, which is like vampiric and fucking scary as hell. I was like,
By Brandon Massey?
It's like Dark Corner. I was fucking freaked out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm like, add to cart.
Dark Corner.
Well, before we wrap things up, are there any, upcoming videos that you want to like, tease, or have you had any recent 5 stars that you want to like shout about from the rooftops?
Hold on, 544 pages?
It is long.
Whoa.
Said that it was short.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, okay. As long as the chapters aren't too long. Anyway, videos. I have a collab with Gabby soon.
Ooh, collab.
I'm gonna upload my March wrap up hopefully tonight.
Oh, you're so brave.
Ooh.
But yeah, nothing too exciting, I guess. Go ahead, Bre.
I said that I would. So I was trying to do a project of read like my mom for a week, which is romance.
Cute.
And I said, oh, it's crazy how that turned into like a month and a half. So, I have it edited. All I have to do is make a thumbnail, y'all, and I am dragging my feet. So I hope that comes out tomorrow. If not, Sunday. I mean, what do y'all want from me?
It comes when it comes, okay?
It comes when it comes, and then I started filming a reset vlog today.
Ooh.
So I hope that to be done by Sunday, so I can edit it by Monday, and it can be out Wednesday. That's my hope. And then I have a read along video. So I got the idea from Katie Colson, but my patrons and I next Thursday are gonna read Stephen Graham Jones' new book, The Buffalo Hunters. Like, we're gonna sprint reading it from beginning to end.
Oh, cool.
And I'm gonna do a vlog concurrently happening, and then post that the week after.
That's cool.
I ain't got nothing else.
Love that. Awesome. Well, we have so much to look forward to, clearly, going on over here. So thank you both so much for joining me today. For the book troop next month, we're going to be reading Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. This is a new thriller. Yeah, it came out in January. And this one sounds interesting because it involves like a podcast of some kind. And somebody comes onto this, I think it's this girl, she hosts a true crime podcast, and then somebody comes onto the show and they said that they killed her mother, or wait, they said, it says her mother's murderer is dead because Poe killed him. And so the podcast host, like, she killed her mother, but this podcast person is coming on and saying, I killed her or something. Like, what? Yeah. So hopefully it's good. Have you read this, Jan, or no?
No, Joey read it, and there's QR codes in it, like to scan, and there's like immersive shit.
No way. That's cool.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. I didn't know that.
I'm gonna read it because the chapters are really short, so I'm excited.
Yeah, the chapters do look very short, so hopefully it's a good time.
I just don't know if I'll read it on time.
To read that? I'm actually if I have time to read that book.
I know it is a lengthier one. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, it looks a little bit longer. It's like over 400 pages. So we'll see. But that's what we're gonna be up to next in April. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this March live show. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much to Jan and Bre for joining me today. Once again, channels will be linked down below, so you can go and check them out. And you have some, content to look forward to soon, as I just said. So thank you so much for hanging out.
Thanks everybody in the chat.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for reading along this month. And I hope you have a good rest of your Friday, good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.